Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning everyone. We are from first group. We will presentation about Old and Middle English.
Okay, thank you for the time. The first one is Old English. Old English or Anglo-Saxon is the earliest recorded form of the English language spoken in England and southern and eastern Scotland in the early Middle Age. It was brought to Great Britain by Anglo-Saxon settlers in the mid-5th century, and the first Old English literary work date from the mid-7th century. After the Norman request of 166, English was replaced for a time as the language of the upper classes by Anglo-Norman relative of France. And then Anglo-Saxon were the ascension of the English race after the fall of the Western Roman Empire in the early 5th century. The Germany tribes the Anglo-Saxon and just saw an opportunity to fill in the power gap or started migrating to Britain. Brought up by this Anglo-Saxon settlers together with some Latin and Celtic words become an English. Anglo-Saxon literature was the earliest piece of English literature. This period consists of literature written in Old English in Anglo-Saxon England from the 5th century to the Norman conquest of the 166. The next one is Old English dialect. There are four. The first one is Northumbrian, in the north comprising the distinct between the fourth and fifth and the Humber River. And then the second one is Mercier, spoken between the Humber and the Thames. And then the third one, West section, spoken in the region south of the Thames except in the Wen and Surrey. And the fourth, Cantace, spoken in the Kent and Surrey. For okay, thank you.
The next material is Old English poetry. The Anglo-Saxons were fond of singing about battles, gods, and their ancestral heroes. It is, however, their songs of religion, wars, and agriculture that marked the beginning of English poetry in ancient England. The Anglo-Saxon poetry was mostly sung instead of written. That's why there are very few remnants left of it. Among them, the most famous one is Beowulf. It is the first English epic poem. Beowulf narrates a tale of the adventures of Beowulf, a brave hero. This poem in fact abounds in all sorts of references and allusions to great events and the fortunes of kings and nations. After embracing Christianity, the Anglo-Saxon poets began to write religious poetry. Therefore, the major portion of Anglo-Saxon poetry encompasses religion. The most famous religious poets of the Anglo-Saxon period were Cædmon and Cynewulf. Cædmon is famous for his hymn in which praises in honor of God. Cynewulf's famous religious poems were Julian, the fates of the apostles Chris and Elaine. Among them, Chris is the most popular one, telling the event that occurred in the life of Jesus Christ.
Okay, the next material is Old English grammar. Old English had a very complicated grammatical system with a number of different declensions of the noun and a three-gender system, and with two declensions of the adjectives. This period has often been described as the period of full inflection, since the inflection grammatical endings of nouns, adjective, and verb were preserved example, being highly inflated, Old English had a relatively free word order syntax. Inflection make meaningless depend on word order. In Old English, we find four cases: nominative, accusative, genitive, and the dative case. Old English pronunciation. Old English were more or less phonetic in character, its spelling representing its pronunciation fairly closely. The two major sound changes on Old English were mutation and graduation. Old English spelling. The Germanic tribes used a particular kind of alphabet called the runic alphabet. The typical runic symbols were not in modern English spelling, but they are used in phonetic script. The Old English spelling was phonetic in character, each other, each letter representing a sound, and it contained no silent letters. Old English has 7 vowels: A, E, I, O, U. A plus E. Was the specialty of Old English phonetic language with the discrepancy between spelling and pronunciation, which is conspicuous in modern English. Anglo-Saxon pottery characteristic and tips. The tips Anglo-Saxon pottery consists of personal and elegiac poems, sad poems written about death, were songs, riddles, and epic poems. And the characteristic is this poem perfect reflect their belief in the importance of war, bravery, courage, heroism, immortality, revenge, and glorious death. The description of sad event of cruel situation are more common than happiness. They, they strongly believe that fate determines all. Okay, the next material will be delivered by Fauzi Amri. Time is yours.
1500 began in 1066 following the Norman conquest of England. The Normans were Vikings who spoke a French dialect that would permeate English society. This literary time period spans the Dark Ages, the Crusades, the Hundred Years' War, and the Black Death. Basically, a whole 4.5 Congress full of chaotic social and political upheaval, which ended around 1500 after the printing press is introduced to London in 1470. A dialectal Canterbury standard gained dominance for most official purposes. Significant literature from this time included chivalric romance, allegorical poem, religious play, and more secular literature such as folk ballads. In this period, religious literature continued to enjoy popularity, and hagiographies were written, adapted, and translated. For example, the life of Saint Audrey at Mere, 1016 and 1126. Contemporary biography of Ansel of Canterbury and the South English legendary. In this country, a new form of English known now as a Middle English evolved. This the earliest form of English which is comprehensible to modern reader and listener, albeit with difficulty. Literature. Geoffrey Chaucer de Canterbury tales introduce iambic pentameter, the rhyming couplet, and other Italian convention to English. Other notable works include Sir Gawain and the Green Knight or Animals, Per Plowman or Langland, and Le Morte d'Arthur or Malory. Drama romance. Another literary genre, romance appearing in English from the 30 Years' Century with a Kinghorn and a Havelock. The Dan, based on Angelo Norman original such as Romance of Horn 1170 in 40 Years' Century. Writers learned in English first appeared. These are William Langland, Geoffrey Chaucer, and the so-called Poet of the Pearl, whose most famous work are Sir Gawain and the Green Knight.
The next material is poetry. Sir Gawain and the Green Knight is a 14th century Middle English alliterative romance developing from Welsh, Irish, and English traditions. Sir Gawain highlights the importance of honor and chivalry. It is an important poem in the romance genre, which usually involves a hero going on a quest that tests his prowess. These are two alliterative poems on moral teachings like patience and purity, and an elaborate first poem, Mutiara. The author of Sir Gawain and other poems is often referred to as the Poet and the Pearl. The English dialect of these poems from the Midlands is very different from that of London-based culture and also influenced by French. Sir Gawain in poetry also many dialect words, often of Scandinavian origin. Originates is in northwestern England. The last material is medieval dramas. In the Middle Ages, drama in European vernacular language may have arisen from liturgical enactment. Another form of medieval theater was drama mummers, an early form of street theater associated with Morris dancing, concentrating on themes such as Saint George and the Dragon and Robin Hood. There are folk tales that rattle old stories, and actors travel from city to city doing this for their audience in exchange for money and hospitality. There are 4 extant or nearly complete collections of English Bible plays from the late medieval period, although these collections are sometimes referred to as cycles. It is now believed that the term can relate these collections more than they actually have. And the last is having grown out of the faith-based medieval mystery drama. Morality drama was a genre of medieval and early Tudor theatrical entertainment, representing a shift towards a more secular basis for European theater. Morality drama is a type of allegory in which the protagonist is filled with personifications of various moral attributes who try to induce him to choose a godly life over an evil life. Okay, thank you so much for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.